Hello, my name is Lauren, and I run the Barely Health and Fitness YouTube channel. It is my birthday today. I am 32 years old, and I am happy to announce my goal. My goal and the reason why I'm starting YouTube and the reason why I am documenting this journey of what I'm about to do. I will be competing in a natural bodybuilding competition in sometime in 2026. I don't have that date. I don't have that exact competition yet. I haven't been able to find a release schedule for 2026 because it's 2024. So naturally, that information isn't going to be out. But I'm playing the long game here, and I'm calling my shot, and I am going to be competing in a bodybuilding competition in 2026. And probably, I would probably say middle to the end of the year. I don't know. We'll see where I'm at, and we'll go from there. But that is my goal. The reason why I am undertaking this there's a multitude of reasons. I'll start with the most sentimental reason. As I said, this is my 32nd birthday. This year is going to be the last year that I'm going to be younger than my mother. I lost my mother to drug abuse and mental health stuff whenever I was 2 years old. She was 33 years old. And through a lot of work over the past 5 years on my mental health, and reading letters and journals that my mother left, and through that, my doctor thinks that my mother and I have the same issues mentally. It's hard to tell because she's not here. When she passed away in 1995, things were different, right, with mental health, but just a lot of the things that she struggled with is something that I struggle with. And I was diagnosed with self-destructive borderline personality disorder in 2020 after a stay in a mental health institution caused by a really bad reaction to SSRIs, and I hallucinated and went literally crazy. Because I kind of started my mental health journey in 2019, I got a prescription to venlafaxine and SSRI or Effexor. I didn't need that. I'm not shaming anybody who uses antidepressants. It just didn't work for me because I wasn't diagnosed properly, right? Like, I don't want that to have the intention here. It just didn't work out for me. But yeah, so it's been a crazy wild ride. But whenever I was diagnosed, at the time I was over 300 pounds. I was an alcoholic. I had a reliance on cigarettes. I had a lot of identity issues. Manifesting of just some things that happened in my childhood, serving in the military, and really struggling with my identity, leaving the military, of being a veteran and being gay. Because there's not a lot of people that has experienced the things that I have, and just due to the political situations, through identity politics, I just kind of felt that I didn't have a home, I didn't have a troop, and I lost my way. A lot of hard things, a lot of hard realizations over the past 5 years. Including which I am sorry for doing all this tangent, but I'm just kind of giving some background information here. I started working on my mental health in 2019, hit a mental health rock bottom in 2020 during the pandemic. Had to drop out of college on my senior year because of that, and also because I contracted COVID, and I had some complications with that. So I had to drop out. And I got started with my career, and I started really rebuilding my life. In 2022, I started my weight loss journey. I started at 312 pounds. But during that time, there are two things. One, I didn't I yo-yo dieted pretty bad. I didn't really know what I was doing. For some context, health and fitness was just something that, wasn't, I don't want to say available to me. It was just like, you know, I grew up, my dad my dad, you know, I'm not blaming anything on my dad, but it was just between my mother passing away at a very young age and my dad needing to do what he needed to do to put food on the table. It was just, we had to do what we had to do to survive. And through that, I don't want to be like, oh, I didn't have the opportunities. It was just a lot of things that culminated into me not make of just years and years of just not being food aware and education with that. It also just kind of I had a food aversion to a lot of different food textures and all that stuff. And I really had to tackle it this year, which kind of brings me to my next point of just kind of what got me into health and fitness, into weightlifting, into struggling into, just learning and growing from that. This year, in January 2024, my dad got in a really bad car accident that he had to have a surgery for. I work remote. I work from home, so I can technically work anywhere as long as I have access to the internet. So just because of my sisters at the time, they have their own lives, they have their kids. I don't have any kids, so it was like one of those things like, okay, yeah, I'll absolutely help my dad out. During that time, my back went out. I still don't really know how my back went out. I don't know exactly was the culmination of everything, but it started out as sciatica, but then it slowly transitioned into the inability to use my left leg. My VA doctor was not a very good doctor. I was like, hey, something's going on here. She didn't want to take a look, so I had to go get my own x-rays. The x-rays revealed of really bad arthritis, bone spurs, and all that stuff in my back. So she ordered a MRI. Turns out I had 3 herniated discs, L3 to S1. And through that, 2 of my discs, L4 and L5 and L5 and S1, they are degraded. L4, L5 had 60% disc fluid loss, and a herniation was pinching off my nerve coming to my leg. The MRI revealed that, but my doctors were too focused on L5 and S1, which 90% of my disc fluid is gone and I'm bone on bone there. And I did have a herniation there. They were focused on that. They didn't look at the actual disc above. Which was like was the whole issue because my left leg, at best during that time period, I was only to kind of like use half of my left leg. But through that, my doctor, after I found out about it, she's like, I don't know what you want me to do about it. You're not a priority. And that just mentally flipped a switch in me. And just because they were more than willing to give me, opiates and stuff like that. And for me, as, previous history with, drug abuse and all that stuff and mental health stuff, that was not an option for me. I asked for a nutritionist. My doctor said no, or forgot about it. It never happened, essentially. So I kind of had to take matters into my own hands. And through that, I lost a significant amount of weight. I started the year at 267 pounds. To my lowest, I got down to 217 pounds before I hopped back into the gym after my back surgery recovery and all that. I'm now currently at 235. Because right now I'm just kind of focusing on just building muscle and strength right now. My diet is, I don't intake any kind of caffeine except for 2 cups of coffee a day. Basically virtually no added sugars. I eat a lot of lean meat. I eat a lot of whole grains. I eat a lot of fruit. I eat a pretty good amount of vegetables. I don't like vegetables that much still. I prefer fruit. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm kind of bulking / recomping right now because mentally I was having some really bad body dysmorphia issues of being of just dropping, like basically dropping all that weight at the time and not having an outlet in the gym. So I thought it was best for me mentally just to let's just focus on getting your strength and your muscularity back. And also just kind of give me some sense of stability and normalcy and kind of take my fat loss, which I'm going to approach later in 2025, starting in May. And I want to devote that time for it. And I want to have my 100 pounds of weight loss, of looking the way how I want in my terms and not because of a medical thing. That's the summation of it. But yeah, so I'm super stoked to get this journey started, right? Yeah, it was a really fucked up year. But I made it out. I made it out alive. I made it out a significantly better person. And so for me, it's basically taking all the lessons that I learned, of just using health and fitness, using diet, using exercise to, um, heal the herniations, recover from back surgery, and we're going to apply it into something, different, something positive, something for myself. And it's something that I want to share, just from the standpoint of, being my own advocate, being my own role model. I know that sounds weird, but, just being the role model that, I didn't have whenever I was a kid. And then just showing people it's like, hey, if you just try, you can do a lot of things. Because that's kind of at the end of the day, that's kind of how I broke everything down. Whenever everything was going crazy, everything was like, I didn't really know what was going on. There was a point where I didn't even know if I was going to have functionality of my left leg even after back surgery. There was a lot of things that, I didn't have control of, but what the things I did have control of, which is just my health, my both physical and mental health, just the basic decisions that I make every day, water intake, exercise, just a balanced diet, and just, taking that and how you can apply it into doing something, crazy. It's not one of those things of, I'm going to be physically ready to compete. It's not about that. Like, I know that whenever I go up on that stage compared to people that have, devoted years and years and years of this to this craft and to this sport, I know that they're going to dog walk me. That's not what we're here for. What I'm here for is myself. What I'm here for is to, show myself of what I can accomplish and what I can do. And, I think what the situation gave me was, looking at health and fitness, looking at strength training through a different lens and not necessarily through just straight up appearances. I view it as, holistic, how can you use it to manage pain? How can you use this to, be a better person in your day-to-day life, and it's just, also just kind of coming from the vantage point of, as a gay person and the veteran at the same time, because, through my different intersectionalities, I know I'm speaking big liberal talk right now. There's a lot of things that make us different, but there's also a lot of things that make us similar. It's just the experience, there's a lot of similar experiences. But it's just different words, but the same raw feeling and emotion are there. So it's just kind of like an outlet of me to just kind of talk about the things that I want to talk about, show what I'm passionate about, through strength training, and also just kind of, selfishly using this experience and leveraging it to my own professional goals, which is to have my own personal training business. Definitely, it's basically going to follow the track of where I'm at in my experience with health and fitness. I'm going to start out with, people that were in my situation, giving them, the context of the decisions that I've made, why I made them, how those decisions and the routines, how it actually like betters my life instead of just the stereotypical, oh, you need to be in a calorie deficit. We're going to be just talking about the struggles of being addicted to food, because just through my experience, and I'll go into more detail about it in future videos, but you cannot tell me what I experienced what had nothing to do with food addiction, and food addiction isn't real. It goes a lot more than just, discipline and all that stuff. There's some borderline. There are some things that are crazy that I don't think really people talk about, which is literally fundamentally rewiring the way how your brain works. So yeah, so it just kind of like the same basics of what I used to build myself up just to get myself to be able to walk again, to be able to, like, be as pain free as possible. It's just the natural progression in subduing it to a little bit, something a little bit more superficial, but something that, is going to give me a lot of pride and a lot of joy doing. So it's going to be this multi-fronted thing. I'm super stoked to be about it, to do it. If there's one thing that I've learned through this whole entire thing we call life, is it doesn't matter. You can think and brainstorm all you want to. You can be self-doubtful. Sometimes you just need to pull the trigger and just do what you want to do. And that's exactly what I'm doing for this YouTube channel. So that's really all I got. I at the time of this recording of this video, I will be recording my leg day, which is actually kind of funny because this is my first leg day back after I broke my toe. After everything I went through this year, a couple weeks ago, I dropped a fucking weight on my toe and I broke my toe. It was absolutely funny, but everything's healed up pretty nicely. My toe doesn't hurt. I've been doing some exercises, pulled back on my leg days a little bit, focused on my squat form. And it was a really good thing that happened to me because it kind of dialed me back into focus more on my squat form, and that's kind of what I took away with it. So we're getting back into the swing of things with the normal leg day, and I'll be recording that, and I'll be just kind of just more getting to know me, and just kind of like how I approach leg day. And because I think leg days are the most important days, though that's training. I heard Dr. Mike say leg days training, upper body days are just working out. My belief is if you have strong legs, if you have a strong core, your natural progression of your body is going to follow, and it's going to keep you young. It's going to keep you mobile, and it's going to do a lot of incredible things, including, because I focused squat on deadlifts for my surgery before preparation for surgery. I walked out of the hospital with my surgery. I walked in there with basically walking with a cane with a really bad flare up. Leg wasn't working, and had my surgery. The next day I walked out of that bitch and I walked to Best Buy and bought a mouse. And then recovered a week. I was only afforded a week off of back surgery, but through the work that I put into strengthening my core, my posterior chain, and my hip mobility, I was able to bounce back very quickly. I was off my pain medication within like 3 days, and then I was actually like, I broke it up, but I was actually like walking like 10 miles like a week after back surgery. Because just having strong legs just do that. And that's a fundamental belief that I have. And I think that through everything I've experienced this year, I do think that, my anecdote has a little bit of merit to it. But that's just kind of me. I pretty much developed a lot of confidence in myself and my ability. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm not going to learn, because we all should be approaching learning. We all should be learning. But at the same time, though, how I was able to train and how I was able to diet got me out of a really fucked up situation that a lot of beginners just don't have the context or experience to. And I'm pretty confident what I can do in my approach and my modality. And just from a superficial standpoint, I think I look pretty good too. So granted, you need to cut the fat, but that's not my goal right now. It will be a goal, obviously, because I need to get down, but right now I'm just like, let me get my sanity back from this year, and then just focus on my favorite thing, which is building muscle mass and building strength. So that's all I got. I definitely appreciate the tangent. Listen to my tangent, listen to my intro here. I don't really foresee a lot of like just sit down videos like this. A lot of it is just going to be doing a lot of action stuff, either in the gym or in disc golf. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I will talk to you guys later, and hope you enjoy the journey.